لا يذوقون فيها الموت إلا الموتة الأولى ووقاهم عذاب الجحيم فضلا من ربك ذلك هو الفوز العظيم فإنما يسرناه بلسانك لعلهم يتذكرون فارتقب إنهم مرتقبون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله 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 أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم تقبل منا صلاتنا. اللهم اجعل هذه الصلاة في موازين حسناتنا. اجعل صلاة العشاء نورا لنا في حياتنا. واجعل صلاة العشاء نورا لنا في قبورنا. واجعل صلاة العشاء نورا لنا يوم القيامة. اللهم احينا على الإسلام وأمتنا على الإسلام وابعثنا على الإسلام وادخلنا الجنة بسلام. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم آمين. أما بعد, Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyya rahimahullah ta'ala was asked a very important question about someone who has been committing some of the devastating or some of the sins which ruin one's iman and aqidah and everything. And he was asked if there is any cure to that particular disease. Then Al-Imam Al-Qayyim Al-Jawziyya rahimahullah ta'ala, he answered the question of that person in about 750 pages, known as Ad-Da' wa Dawa, the disease and the cure. We've talked about the dua. That's pretty much the first chapter. It's all about dua. Everything related to dua, right? How can we have our dua accepted or answered? And we mentioned about 13 or 15 cases or things that if we do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer our dua. And also, he spoke about certain du'as from the Quran, especially the du'a of the prophets and messengers in the Quran. The du'a of Quran in general. These ones are the ones that if you make du'a, inshallah, likely that your du'a will be answered as well. Because as one of the cure, the biggest cure for any disease, spiritual or even physical, is du'a. And we've talked about specific du'as that the Prophet ﷺ taught us to say, if we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to relieve us and relieve our anxiety and stress and all of this, right? Now, Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyya, he's talking about something very important, very significant about du'a. He says, with all of that, using the words of particular words of du'a, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered this dua, not just because of the words. This is min bab akhdh bil asbab, right? This is min bab ya aqilha wa tawakkal. All right? These are not the words, not because just the words Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered the dua, because of everything else that we mentioned. Al-khushu' wal-khudu', the timings during salah and between adhan and iqam and so on and so forth. All of these things together, not just the wordings of the dua. Because you might make specific dua, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered because of the wordings, or you thought because of the wordings. But he says that is not the reason. The wordings are one of the reasons. Al-asbab. Okay? So if you happen to make a dua and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer the dua exactly the way you said the dua, do not think it's because of just the wordings. Okay? Because of the wordings or because of the place. All right? Let's say that you made dua while you're visiting somebody's grave, for example. Okay? That's an extreme example, but he even mentioned this in the book. Okay? Like some people, when they go to a shrine or something, which is definitely we're against it. Someone goes to a shrine and he makes a specific dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers that dua. Does it mean that Allah answered the dua because he made it in front of the shrine? The answer is no. It's not about the wordings, it's about everything else. Okay? So this is very important. Dua, ikhwani, is sabab min al-asbab. Okay? Dua is one of the reasons. Dua and the wordings of the dua are one of the reasons. It's not the only reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer your dua. So that's the first point he wanted to bring to our attention, that aqilha wa tawakkal. When you make dua, praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, send the salah wa salam ala nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-munajah, as basically how we explained before. But know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eventually is the one going to decide whether dua will be answered or not. Okay? But aqilha wa tawakkal. Another question he's answering, in regards to the dua, Let's say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like someone says, some people say, the dua is just one of the sabab. But if you make dua for a particular thing and it was muqaddar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already decreed that was going to happen to you, all right? They say that the dua will be answered. That's the answer to the dua. Otherwise, no. Because Allah decided everything. For them, Allah decided everything. So dua is not going to change anything. Basically, according to that particular group, the dua is not going to change the qadr. The dua is not going to change the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you say, oh Allah, grant me this job. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has it already written that you will be given this job. You make this dua, so it's as if it's a coincidence here. Not coincidence, but Allah decided already that you will get the job. All right? He's saying, no, that is not true. That is not true. There is something called sabab. All right? Sabab lil maqdur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wrote in the qadr that you will get the job only if you make the dua. Do you see that? You will get the job. The sabab here, or the condition here, or the requirement, if you make dua. It's written, okay, in the book of Allah subhanahu, not in the book of Allah subhanahu, the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that because of the dua, that you actually get the job. Or because of the dua, you will be cured. The shifa will come only when you make dua. All right? If you remember, we've talked about the qadiyah of rizq, the provision. There is rizq, based on the sabab. What is the sabab here? Rizq will come to you, and rizq you will have to come to it. All right? The rizq will come to you, whether you do anything or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guarantee that this rizq and provision will come to you. But there are, certain type of rizq that you have to actually go for them. Example, let's say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for you that you will be getting something. But there is one condition. You have to go in the back of the masjid to get it. If you do not go in the back of the masjid, that rizq will not come to you. Do you understand? So there is condition here. If you fulfill the condition, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you what you ask for. Same thing for dua. That's the Imam Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyyah rahimahullah ta'ala says in this book. He says, no, the dua can definitely change the qadr. How? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you make dua, only then He will give you what you ask for. Okay? You know what does that tell us? Tell us that we should always make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with full conviction and yaqeen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer our dua. Okay? So he's refuting the opinion which says that, well, if Allah decided something and you happen to make dua for that thing, only it will happen. Otherwise, no. If Allah decided that you will not get the job, if you make dua, you will not get the job. It doesn't work this way. He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided or decides that you will get the job only if you make the dua. Subhanallah. So the dua was the sabab for the qadr to be fulfilled. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, invoke upon me, pray, and I will definitely answer your dua. Okay? So, ikhwani, the dua is shifa for everything. It's shifa for the ma'asi, for the dhunub, is cure for everything. And that's basically the dawa he's giving to the man who asked the question. When he said that, I tried everything, but it's not working, he said, no. You did not try everything, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever He sends down a disease, with it, He sends the cure as well. You just need to find it and look for it. And he started talking about the first thing, which is the dua. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who are given knowledge and fiqh of the deen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept and answer our dua, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم جزاكم الله خيرا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته